All right, so we got the biggest day in my lifetime in American election history tomorrow, and I want to talk about exactly where we're at, what I think is going to happen, and the impact on the country and the world, and some things that I don't think a lot of people have thought about related to outcomes and how it could affect the world, okay, in terms of like depending on which candidate wins, and I don't think that this is actually going to go exactly as someone anticipates. Oh, if she gets elected, the world's going to end. If he gets elected, everything's saved. It's not that simple. There's a lot of things to consider. But here's the thing, okay? I'm going to show you this video right here where Joe Rogan and John Fetterman talked about the immigration issue. And this is very telling, okay? Very telling, because here is the absolute stone bottom line as I see it. I might not be the smartest guy in the world, but I am really good at sniffing out lies, okay? Just sniffing out lies and then sniffing out people who are being intentionally dishonest, okay? Because when people are intentionally dishonest, it makes me obviously very suspicious of them as leaders, them as people, so on, so forth. Because the idea that the big guy, okay, that he has been wildly dishonest, oh, he lies all the time, is laughable in comparison to how dirty these other people are playing. It's unreal. When you actually really look at this thing as a whole, it is unbelievable how dishonest they have been. And here's the big question, okay? Is there a chance, is there any chance at all here that this thing's going to run clean? Or is the fix in, okay? And I'll tell you why I am so suspicious in whether this outcome is predetermined regardless of who votes for who. Now, obviously, this is a topic you need to be very careful in how you talk about. So I am literally just telling you what I'm thinking based on things that I have taken into my brain and have been burned into my memory over the last however many years, okay? So first off, I wanted to say this. Let's actually go through exactly what happened between Joe Rogan and John Fetterman first, because this issue is a perfect microcosm for the dishonesty that we are going to talk about, okay? Now, bottom line, let me ask you guys a question. Why have you not subscribed to my channel yet, okay? I'm just kidding. That's not the real question, but you should definitely subscribe, like the video, share the video, tell your friends. If one side is facilitating illegal immigration into the country for the specific reason of farming votes in order for their side to win, and then simultaneously representing that they actually were the ones who were pushing to close the border with a comprehensive immigration deal, and just failing to tell the truth about the circumstances around, or the actual terms of the deal, which Trump did turn down, which included giving 2 million illegals, citizenship. So they're like, yeah, no, we're not doing this deal. We're not getting 2 million illegal immigrants citizenship every year. That's insane. Why would we do that? They're all, listen, he's the one that didn't do that. Like, what would you say about, like, because they're certainly not going to tell you that. And they're also facilitating illegality just so they can stay in power. Okay. There's no smart person that's going to go, oh, yeah, that sounds like the behavior of the good guys. Anyway, let's listen to this. Watch this.
First Democrats saying, hey, though, we need a secure border. It's a significant issue. And if I thought there was any kinds of issues, and I've been very vigilant throughout, I've been actively involved in those kinds of things, and I've never witnessed those kinds of a thing.
What do you mean by issues? Like, what kind of issues you're talking about? You talking about people letting people in order to get votes?
It's not. There's not that level kinds. I don't think there's that level kinds of organization.
But there is.
That's interesting that he would say that. Okay, how are all of the new immigrants that are given amnesty ending up in places like Ohio? We all know that they are being bussed and flown around the country. We know that. We know that to be true. So who's doing that? Okay, who is doing that? Where are these buses coming from? Where are these flights coming from? We all know this is happening. And how are they only ending up in the swing states? I thought New York is a sanctuary city. I thought California is a sanctuary state. Okay, why aren't they going there? Why do you think they're ending up in Ohio and Pennsylvania? You know what I mean? If it's not organized, how is it happening?
An organization that's moving these people to swing states. There's a significant number of these people that are illegal immigrants that have made their way to swing states. And then there's been calls for amnesty. There's been calls for allowing these people to have a pathway to citizenship and allow them to vote. The fear that a lot of people have is that this is a coordinated effort to take these people that you're allowing to come into the country, then you're providing them with all sorts of services like food stamps and housing
that we are paying for without agreeing to, for the record.
And setting them up, and then providing a pathway to amnesty, and then you would have voters that would be significantly voting towards the Democrats because they're the people that enabled them to come into the country in the first place and provided them with those services.
Okay. Yes, exactly. And again, if you think that's not happening, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because that is absolutely happening. And anyone who's been paying attention knows that. Okay. If you watch MSNBC and you watch ABC and you watch these captured media outlets and you think because it's not on there, that means it's not happening, then you are a naive fucking idiot. Okay. Those places are not going to tell you that. And this is the thing that you need to understand. Okay. The people making these decisions, you're talking about a group that's this big. Okay. This big, that is supposed to represent all of the citizenship of this country. Okay. We are the collective. And so you have the majority of people who know about this are screaming and ringing alarm bells and going, guys, when did I agree to pay 40% of the money that I bring in so that these people over here can take it and not give it to hurricane victims that are citizens of this country? They're actually going to give it to illegals who are crossing the border because we shut down all of our enforcement at the border. We're bringing them all in, and then we're going to use your tax dollars to bus them over to a swing state. We're going to give them free money, not to military veterans, not to homeless veterans, not to people who have gotten their legs blown off defending the country. Not to them. We're going to give it to illegal aliens that are here illegally. And then we're going to give them a pathway to voting in these elections because the other side is saying, no, we need to deport them. They're here illegally. And we're going to be like, come on, guys. You know, you need to show compassion. It's not about compassion. This is about power. This is about dirty games, and they are lying to everyone. And they are lying by omitting it in the mainstream media, and they're lying by pretending that it's not happening. Okay? So you are literally taking money from the citizenry that we are not agreeing to pay. You're giving it to them for no other reason than to make votes for yourself. How is that not stealing our money? How is that not stealing our money? They are criminals, dude. Okay? There's how else could you see a thing like that? It's criminal. If you have a treasurer of an organization, okay? If you have a treasurer of an organization and they are taking the money that the organization is collectively, everybody's paying dues, and they're spending money on things that no one agreed to, nor would they ever agree to, and the only reason that you're doing it is to keep yourself in the position that you're in, what do you think people would do if they found out? They kick them the fuck out. Okay? And so, again, this is one very overt and very, very disqualifying thing that they are doing. And the craziest thing about it, you know why they're having to do that? Is because their policies are so terrible for the actual citizens of this country that they can't get them to vote for them. They know that. Okay? They know that. They know that they can't get enough Americans to vote for them, so they have to import them. And why is that? Because they shut down America's businesses. They forced medication down their throat. They destroyed their fucking lives. And now they're like, what are we going to do? Oh, I know. Well, let's just get voters from other countries. We'll take money that should be earmarked for helping Americans and we'll give it to them. Who cares if they're criminals? Who cares whatever? Okay? We control the media, so when when disaster happens, we'll just make sure no one hears about it. Okay? And this is before we even get into the part of whether or not our votes even are going to matter. So when I hear people on X and they're like, how could anyone vote for the big guy? And I'm like, you are a naive, captured dimwit. Okay? You ask me and our people, why are you voting for him? Simple. That. Okay? That. I don't want foreign wars. You want to know something else? Listen to this. Okay? You know how we talked about how China is building these huge automotive manufacturing plants in Mexico, okay? Which these automotive companies are going to outsource manufacturing jobs from America to Mexico. Why? Because it's cheaper. They're a corporation. Their job is profit. So of course they're going to do that. And so the big guy says, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to put 100% tariff on imports on cars from Mexico. You know what happened? They shut down the construction of those plants because they're afraid he's going to win. It's wasted money. The plan is done if he wins. Okay? That is protecting American jobs. And what do you have on the other side? We're going to tax unrealized gain. Listen, the rich are not paying their fair share. You're not going to fucking do that, you liar. Okay? Oh, I'm going to legalize marijuana. And she overtly says she's doing that to try to capture the black vote. This racist lying, pretending herself to be in that race. It's ridiculous, dude. It is ridiculous. I saw this woman who posted something on X yesterday, and it was like, God, it's you know what? Actually, I'm just going to show you, okay? We'll come right back to this, I promise, all right? So this is a never, like a never whatever. I'm trying not to say his name because it'll get suppressed. But like, look at this thing that she posted, and let me just show you what my response was. Like, I am losing it now. Okay, look it. Okay, so here you go. Okay, so she posts, "Hell hath no fury." Oops, let me resize this. Sorry. She says, "Hell hath no fury." Like 169 million pissed off women heading to the polls. Okay? And I said, the easiest group of people to brainwash, entitled, well-off white women driven by entitlement, self-aggrandizing ego, masked as empathy, and such blinding certainty in their perspective that they feel justified in telling outright lies knowingly if it fits their endgame. You guys are actually everything that you ignorantly think your opponents are. If you could see yourselves as you actually are, it would shatter your worldview. Go take some mushrooms and have a conversation with an educated big guy supporter and try to do the unthinkable and shut the fuck up and listen to them for once. I just can't, dude. I just can't, man. Okay? So let's continue because I just probably took up 7 minutes of this video and I've got a lot more coming.
This is a big fear that people have, and that you're rigging this system and that this will turn all these states into essentially locked blue like California is.
Well, it's immigration is always going to be a tough issue in our nation. I had as a professor in grad school, Alan Simpson, and he was a United States senator. He was Wyoming, and he was actually a pro-choice Republican. I mean, how rare that would be. Well, it doesn't exist now. And he said, "You are never going."
Sorry. That doesn't exist now. That doesn't exist now. Did you guys know that? Pro-choice Republican, it doesn't exist now. Hi. How are you? It exists now. Okay? I don't hate Fetterman. I don't even hate. The only people I hate are the people who are over here who are actually pulling the strings. If you ask any of these people, that woman that I was just talking about, okay? Hey, why are you voting the way you are? Her answer will be, because I hate the big guy. Okay? I hate the big guy. If you ask any of them, all of them will say that. If you ask me or the people on this side, will be like, because we love that guy. Okay? He's our guy, man. That's our guy. The vast majority of us. And they're liars. So their vote is based on hatred. Our vote is the exact opposite. And yet, what do they say about us? The exact opposite. They are gaslighters who literally are exactly what they say about the other side incorrectly.
To have any meaningful immigration kinds of legislation. He's like, because both sides, that's useful for them, and it's going to be back and forth. And he said that 25 years ago.
Useful meaning the debate, having it always a political
it's
talking
useful
point.
for one side or the other. It's useful. And he said they were never going to be. And he said that in 1999.
This is idiotic, dude. This is not true, okay? Because like in 93, Bill Clinton was the number one guy saying we need to shut down the border. We need to shut down the border. Do you think the Republicans disagreed with it then? Okay. No, this is not true. Everyone was aligned on this until one side fucked over so many people that it turned, listen, we're going to have to, we're never getting them back, right? All the people are against us. So except for the dumbasses that we can trick into believing that this dude is a fascist, okay? And that's going to slowly erode because not as many people watch mainstream media, which is the only way, is we just have to mainline this garbage into their brains nonstop. And once people figure it out, they're going to go tell all their friends that it's lies. And then we're going to have people who will never go this way. So we got to import them, dude. And then we got to give them a reason why they would vote for us. And so there's a good way to do that. These people that won't vote for us, let's steal their money and give it to them. And then they'll vote for us.
Mm-hmm. And I voted for the border deal, and that went down. And that's, I mean, he said that 25 years ago, and that was absolutely true now, that they had an opportunity to do a comprehensive border, bipartisan, and that went down because Trump, he declared that's a bad deal after it was negotiated with the other side.
But didn't that deal also involve amnesty? And didn't that deal also involve a significant number of illegal aliens being allowed into the country every year? I think it was 2 million people.
That's reasonable. Hey, guys, sign this deal. 2 million people that vote for us every year, 1 year. So wait, what's that? I don't know. Every 4 years, 8 million people, 90% of them will vote for the other side. But but it's us that should have done something. Oh, everything would have been fine if they would have just agreed to this rigged plan.
So it was still the same sort of situation, and their fear is exactly what I talked about, that these people will be moved to swing states, and that will be used to essentially rig those states and turn them blue forever.
I'm not really sure if that's what's in play.
First of all, Fetterman would not know if that is what is in play. If everybody thinks that, anyway, whatever. So he's that's. Without getting into that, we don't need to watch the last minute of this. You see, okay? So if anybody's confused about this, right? The way it works is you have the people really running things, the donors, okay? You may have heard of a couple of their names. I can name that rhyme with Bates and Boros, those types of people. And then the bankers, okay? They run things. They're the ones who, what is it again? Crack rock? Something like that. Crack rock. They are the ones who run things. They implement these plans, okay? People who are running for office are puppets for them, okay? So when you're looking at this, right, and you think Occupy Wall Street, you think people on the other side of us. Wrong. Same people, okay? That's all us, dude. Okay, Occupy Wall Street, they got, anyway, I'm going to get sidetracked here. You know what? I've said enough about this. Let me move on to what I'm talking about with whether or not this is going to be a real, fair thing. And if you hear before I even say anything, I assume you can tell by my mood which direction I think this is going to go tomorrow. I see a lot of people it's going to be a landslide. He's going to get it done. I don't think people understand how powerful these people actually are. I do. And you know how I told the lady over there to take mushrooms? I found out in a very similar situation. An incredibly, incredibly strong psychedelic experience where all of a sudden I got transported into you want to see how the world works, bud? Here you go. If you've never done really heavy psychedelics, then you're probably like, oh yeah, that sounds like a really bulletproof opinion. Then you just, oh, I was on tons of drugs and I found out. People who have done them are probably like, oh, okay. Okay. The world gets shown to you when you get to change your perspective like that. And I am telling you, you cannot even fathom how powerful these people are. Okay. I never had. I think about this all day. It wasn't until then that I really wrapped my brain around it. And what I'm telling you, let me just actually put it into the simplest terms possible in terms of the process. Okay. So all of us go in and we go boop, boop, boop. Cool. Voting for that person. Right. Okay. So what happened in 2016? What was the accusation related to the big guy? Russia, right? Oh, he's in bed with Russia. And they were looking, they're like, oh, well, were they in the machines? Were they in the software? Did they hack into the machines or the software? So how do you think that they figured out whether or not they were in the software? Okay. They did forensic tests on the software to see if they could find where they had or hadn't broken in and toyed around with things and rigged the system. Okay. So question. When they have been writing a million things about how the software, these machines are not secure, you have any idea how many things I've read about how they are not secure? They said they couldn't find anything that Russia did it, but they're not secure. Okay, who's running these tests again? Like on where all the vulnerabilities are? Them. Okay, them. So they find every single unsecure part of the process because they're trying to look, they're trying to look to see if Russia did it. And what do you think they're going to do with that information? You think they're going to put it out there and go, Russia did this? Or do you think they're going to take those vulnerabilities and be like, well, now we can make sure that we win every time because we know exactly how to do it? I'm hypothesizing here. What would I do if I was a crooked string puller at the top? I would take that information and I would go, all right, well, cool. This is how we're going to do it. And you would, like, these guys game plan everything. Remember Project 2, whatever, that they ran where it was like, oh, well, let's see what happens if something gets released on a global scale and we had to do lockdowns and da, 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 da. It's like, oh, weird. And then 3 months later that happened. Crazy. This is what they do. They do these like war game type things on all that. Okay, so as soon as they figure out the vulnerabilities, they've got years to plan, years. And they go, okay, so here is the legal process. Here is how people forensically investigate these things. They have game planned every single step of this. That's why whenever people go, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that 2020 was right. Where is it then? Okay, you're saying that there was cheating? Where is it, man? Show me where it is. There's been no evidence found. Okay, well, the smartest, most devious people in the world have game planned this all out. Do you really think there is a way that they could, there's no way that they could set this up and then maybe even set up a red herring like with mail-ins, get you looking in the wrong direction, make them think like, oh, well, they got to just dig into the ballots. And it's like, looking in the wrong place, man. Maybe. If they want to do it, they will. That's why I am fully prepared for it to go the wrong way. Now, in a free and fair one, who's going to win? Give me a break, dude. Madison Square Garden sell out with tens of thousands of people outside. Okay? Like this is not even, if you're like, come on, man. Okay? Like this would not even be close. He got the most votes in American history in 2020 ever. Except for the other guy who somehow got, 10 million more. And since then, you have any idea how many people I know who 2020 were on the other side and now we're on ours? How many people have been on our side and have flipped back? None. Zero. Okay? I know a lot of people. You are not going to convince me ever that he could actually lose if this thing is run clean. You couldn't convince me that it's impossible. You cannot convince me that. So if it runs clean, he wins. Okay, now here is the flip side of the conversation, and this is really important, okay? The flip side of the conversation is this. I was listening to Sean Ryan talk about something today, which had to do with China and access to minerals and what they're doing globally. And he was talking about how the future of energy has to do with batteries and lithium, and everybody knows all about that, right? And he's saying, second that we pulled out of Afghanistan, they were in. Right? Now they're in there making a deal for all the lithium deposits. And I thought about that. And I'm like, okay, who initiated us actually pulling out? These guys fucked it up. But who made the deal? Our guy, right? And he wants out of, the country next to Russia. I don't even know what I can say and what I can't say I'm trying not to get this video suppressed. What if, okay? Because there are people, when I see some of these high level deep state guys talk, I'm like, that guy is operating on a completely different level. And I actually respect them. Like, it's not someone I look at and go, that guy's a dirtbag. Like, there are some that are just dirtbags. Okay. Brennan and Millie. Like, I look at those guys. I don't trust them at all. Zero. I look at them. I'm like, yeah, no, no. But there are other guys like Christopher Mellon, who's the guy who's been going around and talking about the UFOs and stuff like that. And if you look into the Mellon family and where that guy is in intelligence, that's why you have to be very skeptical of anything having to do with the UFOs, because that guy telling you're like, what's really going on? But him, I actually look at, I'm like, because you have to know there is way more at play than what we understand. Okay, we are dumbbells because we do not have access to the information that these people have. So there is a possibility. Okay, there is a possibility that there are things we do not understand on the international scale. Because, to me, I'm like, why are they doing this to our guy? Why are they prosecuting him? Why are they trying to put him in jail? Why are they lying every second about him? And some of it just comes down to crooked, like the Atlantic, with Jobs' wife who owns it, and she just straight up is like, yeah, because we can control the narrative. And then they just run absolute horseshit stories, lies, overt lies that they know are not true. Okay, well, it's because she just doesn't like him and she thinks, it's contrary to whatever. But why are the intelligence people against him so hard? Why are some of these, why are they so concerned about him being president? And there is a world where there are things we don't understand, like how important it is strategically for us to be in certain parts of the world for reasons that you cannot just announce to the people. Like, you can't just be like, we need to go to war with these guys because of the lithium deposits. It's critical because if China gets it, China does our manufacturing, China's mining all the lithium, we will be we will have no leverage on the global scale if we do not control this over here. That's why we're really in there. No one's going to get on the news and say that. And if they can't get him to listen to that, and he's like, I don't care, we're pulling out, that's the only thing that I could hear about why the deep state would want him out, that I would be like, okay, that makes sense to me. Okay, that makes sense to me. Because if I don't know that, then what am I going to assume? Oh, you just want to make money blowing people up, right? Military industrial, you just want to blow people up. So you'll just lie about this guy and pretend like we're not here and import all these voters and whatever. I mean, I'm much more likely to believe that than the other thing, but I'm just saying there is a world where there could be things where there's a reason that they are so firmly against him I don't know, man. Bottom line, I don't think this is going to go our way. Okay? I don't think this is going to go our way. And it's not going to be because the people spoke. That's my concern. And that's just the way I feel, right? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no control over this. I'm certainly not making any direct accusations because I have no information that anybody else doesn't have. But my gut feeling is this is not going to be a good outcome. And that just is what it is. So that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Love you guys. Bye-bye.